Okay, so I've laid out a few charts. I'm not like the humans who have backstories who think they ask for a million things a day and want them. I really only wanted a couple things in this world. But looking at what's happened recently, I understand that there's someone in the way there of and what they do is they often provide me with a trash alternative. Like literally, it's trash sometimes. Drugs. Let's get into the story. I want to make this part short because it's so long just for like explaining like wanting one or two things upon the earth. And now all of a sudden, this alien species is trying to convince me I'm God. Like they're going to scapegoat me for what they do upon the planet. And if I was God, they'd be gone. Um, so, yeah, there's no scapegoating me. Either way, whether I'm not, whether I'm the lowest servant or the highest God, there's going to be no scapegoating me for what I didn't create from the start here. Um, okay, God or servant. Okay, so the years 1 to 4. I don't think I existed. Humans have backstories here. Like when I summon a clone and it appears, it can tell me what happened when it was 1 and 2 and all that. I only have like 2 images. It's kind of like one of those picture books, those video games where the first, you know, storyline just shows you a couple pictures and stuff. Really. And I do think the game is actually like showing me like it's a game and how it's created and everything and why and the plot line laid out. Okay, so 5 to 14. Wanted to be a video game champ, but before it really existed. And then someone talked about music and I'm like, "Oh, drum sounds cool." Not allowed to do that. Definitely not allowed to even buy drums, but people would throw away games I bought. And oddly, those people look like these other people that we're having a problem with on this planet. Um, yeah, so, and I have this continued theme where it goes on into people who look like that have actually separated me from other humans, trying to date them or speak with them. So there could be a reason why that they're mostly the people in my life, and not because I chose them. Because I definitely tried to choose against them many times, or something else rather than. So 5 to 14, and then at 14 I learned I can run away. So I exited where I was. If only there was a God above me who could have told me I have to run away at like age 6, things would have turned out different. But I'm assuming it's set up this way for a reason, because it's all set up nonsense, non existent bullshit on planet Earth. Okay, so then I gave up everything, pretty much. Empty once, so it'll never happen. Metal seemed cool. I wanted a female who listened to that. I didn't know the importance of it yet, but I later learned that others only liked me for my looks and they hated the rest of me. So we were entirely incompatible if I wanted to do anything but sit there and oogle them all day and let them oogle me all day. And it was hard to oogle them, and it was sick to let them oogle me all day. So, but eventually it got in the way. Like I'd want to do something, and they'd be like, "No, no, no, you can't do that. Like, don't do anything." Okay, so I realized like the importance of getting with someone like me was the fact that the other people were into trash, and I wanted to do more than trash. But how many of those people were these other people sent into my life? Did I ever want to be involved in orgies as a child? I don't know about that. In fact, I felt weird every time it happened, to be honest. So I can kind of assume I do know about that, and I do know the answer to it. Okay, so let's move on. 14 to 22. Didn't do anything. Uh, Not that I really chose to. A lot of filler here and there. I mean, there's tons of filler. We could make tons of movies about it, but for some reason, I don't make the media and stuff. Except for when I was 18, I made the media because one of the precious people killed themselves around me. half the city thanked me for that. Because he was, his little wannabe gangbanger pals were trying to take over the city, apparently. And really robbing and disrupting a lot of other people's lives, apparently. Because strangers would come up to me and say things. But the judicial system didn't like that. I killed one of the precious drunk dropouts who didn't drop out because he was intelligent, but dropped out to go smoke crack and stuff. Too intelligent for school or too dumb for school is two different forms of dropouts. Hey, the two dumb people might actually know something, but all he knew was savagery and wanting to be a gangbanger, wanting to be a killer or whatever. 22 moved on to new ones. Probably didn't want anything, 22 to 32, because I just realized, I'm not getting anything. We're at this age. I didn't understand anything yet. But I realized, there's no point to wanting or going after anything, because I had done other things during those other years. And even those non-wants that I had picked up because I was blocked from the other ones were taken away from me. Oddly, by a Muslim group, really through a Muslim family, really through some of that. And then, oddly, I think within a couple weeks, their nation got bombed. And a war was waged upon them. I say that's odd because other stuff I've seen happen in this world, pretty much. I mean, like the dude who died he killed himself when I was 18. How do you just kill yourself when you're trying to attack someone? I guess. Things like that happen. Just had someone fucking rob me the other day, and their friend tells me they got taken away real fast. It's like, well, I said that was going to happen, actually. I was like, oh, I'm so used to this happening, I shouldn't even be mad after being pissed at it for a while. He knows, all my rent money and stuff. They're gone now. Apparently, that's what they said. Makes sense. I've seen cities burn down fucking after, like I said, I think I've seen nations being bombed after their mindset destroyed my existence. And then, nothing, some real serious things happened there. I learned the importance of wanting what I want and not allowing anything else in the way because they tried to prevent me. Now, these people had names related to these other people, but they had the blonde hair. So the blonde hair is harder to see when compared to when it has the dark hair with the beady eyes and rat faces. But yeah, that definitely ran in that family too. So again, we keep seeing the same pattern here. I mean, there's a lot of stuff I'm trying to leave out to make this video short here, but boy, has that happened a lot. I mean, hell, my best friend ended up being black palpacy related and obviously looked exactly like these other. Everyone in my life looks the same, and then they came into my life, separated me from other races when I tried to date them or be friends with them and talk to them. And then I look back when we had full solid proof that with other people right there seeing it happen while I'm talking to them about it happening. And I'm just like, hey, check that out. It's happening, isn't it? And pretty sure that's been happening a long ass time. In fact, when I talk about them breeding into families to destroy them, maybe that's where it all started. And there's a story there too. Quite a few links along with anyone you can see in Hollywood from the outside, which is rare, any of them don't look like them inside, is it? These days. And so 32, I finally got rid of the baggage and I wanted to pursue bodybuilding further. And magically, someone who works with Donald Trump, who does voodoo spells and rules the world, goes around fucking just hooking up with whoever they want, who runs whatever city they're in. The top people in their city gets paid by him. Yeah, around that time weird things happened, and I lost my ability to really pursue that anymore. And they lost their ability to move their arm permanently, but eventually I got that back. But the rest of me didn't heal as well and stuff. Yeah, and the game like showed me so much more. Like her family was like the world's most famous puppeteers, and she was involved in magic, and her business that she used to work with all the elites was called Magic something or another. And I realized like the game's showing me something at this point that they're just puppets, and there's some other stuff going on here. I like retired that, and I was already looking into politics. I was like, hey, I know everything. I can rule the world. I can do that by proxy of USA presidency, so I'll run USA presidency. I can change anything I don't know by just simply reading a couple sentences and knowing the answer. And then, so by 39, I knew what was going to happen when I did that, running for president, because I had already infiltrated and busted open, crashed so many media events that I understood that these people were all up in my life every step of the way. I couldn't avoid them at all. And I was, realizing like, hey, the person who's been my supposed best friend is related to the black papacy, the popes, and all that stuff. And definitely not not a positive thing when you're hunting people, literally hunting. Like, people are telling you the evil people are the popes and you're hunting them. And it's like, yeah, I think I know who the evil people are. I think they're hiding behind the words Christian and Catholic and all that. But, it still means they're evil. So, yeah. And so, like, I learned by 39 that something else is going on, that people in the world around me are controlling stuff with magic and stuff like that. And so I started to ask for things. And then 2020 rolled around and a whole bunch of crazy stuff happened. And people came towards me and who were the reason I would have asked for things like that to happen, because they were terrorists who needed taught a lesson. They came to me and somehow found me, somehow knew what I was doing in private, and was like, oh, you're God, you're doing that stuff. He's like, oh, well, if I was God, you'd be way too fucking scared to come and say that to my face right now. You'd be packing your family's bags and trying to find a new planet to live on so you could safely escape what's coming to you and stuff. Because your family needs a fucking lesson for breeding you out. So I went towards the presidency thing, and I've seen that slaves aren't allowed to become president. You have to be part of this special ran over by the truck looking group here. Even have the nerve to start messing with me more than my family and life. I'm assuming that they poisoned my dad and killed him off before I could talk to him one last time and ask him about the people he worked with, because he worked with these people at the highest level. Like my girlfriend worked with Donald Trump and all that. That was, by the time she came around, I was just like, oh, big deal. I was like, big deal when my dad told me he worked with those people. I didn't know nothing about them. But I'm pretty sure, they were implying I'm God. Well, I'm assuming they're trying to manipulate me, because technically they'd be dead if I were God, and not just little events in the world happening. I would have cleansed the earth of people who did things like that already. Made it a paradise without them. And this whole thing's been set up, and the high probability and the odd things I seen in the past involve the same beings, at least lookalikes to those now caught openly getting in the way of me even talking to others, let alone dating races outside of their special, overprivileged, inbred, gray-skinned selves. And I've seen it was happening in the past at that point in time, because it's like, oh, this keeps happening. Like, you guys are on repeat. Like, you can't even have a new thought, just like everything else. You're on You're just an enemy on, like Bullet Bill keeps flying across the street in the same pattern. And the Koopa, marches in the same pattern. And they do the same thing over and over. It's almost as if they can't have a new thought. And they raping children. They can't stop raping children. They can't stop mutilating children. Whatever they call themselves, Christians, Satans, atheists. They just keep doing it for thousands of years. And supposedly, they didn't write nothing. They're too lazy to do that. But supposedly they wrote a book saying that they got messed up real bad for doing that in the past. But I think that's just the backstory, because I think they're too lazy to write a book. Other than that, they could have won the presidential awards I did for writing as a kid, and me not get them those years and stuff, because they could have been good at writing instead of me just throwing together some BS and getting those awards. Yeah. So after that, my goal was to die quickly. I already knew, like, by 39, like, I had to die by the end of 2020. By 2019, I knew what I was getting involved into, that the humans were of no fucking help at all. And I didn't learn how much that they work with the demon species, but I did know that they do that. But when 2020 came, we had them all slap on their Nazi flags over their mouths, and we could have never, in all my interactions with them close up, I could have never got them to raise a Nazi flag or even claim they liked that fascist, government worshiping stuff. Although there's Santa Claus and Christianity, Satan, and atheism, it was like a clue. But it's like, even me, like, I would like kind of spout some of that stuff for a few months, and until I figured out, like, wait a minute, like, no, we don't follow Jeffrey Epstein's people. Evil people. And they stopped, come up with new stuff too to see people. Okay, so at 40, COVID and the aliens unmask. By this point, being shown I'm alien to human as well. Whatever the difference between me and them are, I can summon them repeatedly. And then, like, whatever controls all of them just puppets them and makes them dance. And as if they're just lifeless shells who have some random programming in them. Not random at all. A basic set script that's like 7 things given to 14 billion people, so it's rather easy to see after a short while. If there's 14 million unique things, that only have 7 unique things. And the math there, billions and less than 10. Trust me, that means something. Math means something. Doesn't mean that the people who control math are intelligent or anything like that. Doesn't mean the people behind science aren't the same Satanist and atheist Christian demon people. Because it definitely is. Just like these people have been stalking me my whole life. Almost everyone who got in the way. I had people like kick my friends, and who were like in my life, and then their parents would always have this weird evil laugh when I would come around too. Like I said, like, everyone in my life is just one group. Like, the first person I had sex with as a kid definitely looked like them, and then the next group we both had, the first person I dated, we both had a best friend like that, and their best friend got in the way of us. When they tried to re-hook up with me, their best friend was trying to hit on me and distracted me from the fact that probably the other person was there to do that. And now that person is married to one of them. But let's not ignore the fact that their parents look like Santa Claus. And we can only guess who Santa Claus people want you to worship, themselves. So that's all what it's all about. That's what the religion's all about, is worshiping them. So yeah, we have a person who is being stalked by scumbags that the human scumbags worship and refuse to stop killing and raping and slaughtering their children for, or refuse to even have a thought of their own that they haven't told them. We have those people like constantly in my life coming up, but they're coming up to me and tell me I'm God. Half of them like try to attack me for it. Half of them like treat me like I'm God, and then tell me I'm God, and then like try to destroy me. Another half I don't even like to get close enough, but they're rabbis and stuff. It's like, all right, you're already an enemy. Like I'm not gonna let you get close enough to fool me. But you know, it was a little bit too late once. I mean, I know by looking at them, the game has easily designated them to look like a certain. They look like gerbils who have been ran over by semi-trucks. It's easy to see the different humans look like different things. And the gerbils ran over by semi-trucks are unique people who have managed to own and control everything on the planet and are deep in my life. I've been almost every person I know, and they've subdued everyone I know who might not be them, although I think the other ones, were so deep, and they look like him too. So, there is no excluding someone just because, if you are a soldier for the enemy, general, then you're a soldier. You're a war machine, you're a death, you're a killing, you're a murder machine, you're a terror machine. And you don't ban guns, do you? You just take guns away from the enemy. And when it comes to clones and AIs, they're much more dangerous. Robots are much more dangerous than a gun and stuff. You don't give robots to people like Elon Musk and Bill Gates, because they already have them. They've already, apparently, like, I'm assuming what storyline here is they replace the humans. That's why they're so dumb, and I can summon them on command, stuff like that. They just beam down a cyborg, creation or something. That's probably part of the storyline, because it's definitely not that they're good people. We already know that. We already know that child rapists, Christians, Satanists, atheists, and other races who pride themselves on their child rape, we already know they're not good people. Even they will agree. People like that aren't good people. They're just trying to protect themselves from being found out as the people doing that, even though they do it in the open. 5,000 a day, USA does alone. And in the Middle East, it's almost like beautiful. God has set that up for those people to bomb each other. Because it's like one group's raping and mutilating their newborn males, and other groups raping and mutilating the newborn females for the group that is the world's largest child rapist that they worship. They both worship him. Santa's coming soon, dude. Don't forget to worship child rapists. Yeah, I'm sure that's going to work out well, right? Hopefully it doesn't, right? Like, wouldn't that suck if the game ends that the child rapist demon species fucking win and continue to exist? And what would be the point of a game like that? There wouldn't be. But, yeah. What they want you to do is they want you to stop all the hate, man. Oh, don't hate the fact that they're lying scumbags keeping you down and oppressing you and invading the lives of people they call God, and they probably really have legit reasons to actually come call me God. Because the invention of fucking people and material goods is a little too fast for a pea brain like them to come up with. On such rapid command. It would have to be AI and stuff, whether they're an AI race or not. Who gives? All the more reason for them to go, because they don't belong amongst humanity. And yeah, so how do so many of them do that? Like, I don't think, how many of the people on this planet aren't the definition of a human? We need to really reclassify this. We need to point this out to the general public that there's beings out here who don't exist. and just appear on command and stuff like that. And I think what we're going to find out is it's a very large portion of people out there who aren't people. I'm thinking that's what it is. Because how the hell does a movie like Matrix 4 with all these stars just appear before me? And it's like showing me what just happened the last 30 minutes before I came in the movie theater that I recorded on video and put on YouTube. How does that even happen if any of those beings are real? Well, two things. Someone has vast power over the over the physical world, and it's not real at all. Or it could be three, because it could be both. Or they don't exist, and they're just a figment of the game's imagination. The AI running wild, creating a story around the main character. Or it could be both, like I said. It could be both. But we do at least know that something to that effect is happening. We can't deny that. Just like we can't deny Santa Claus is coming. Or the humans might kill you. Santa Claus is coming. NASA agrees. Santa and his ultra genius human brain. He's coming to bring gifts to everyone who's not poor. And don't worry, the Abraham Jeffrey Epstein's religions will offer free gifts. Who invented Santa Claus will offer free trash to the people who are poor. As long as you worship them. That's also part of the game there. That's their passive-aggressive mind control cult. Where they say, oh, we're good people, but Satan's going to kill you if you act bad. And it's like, well, yeah, you mean you're threatening me, but you're a coward to say it to my face. But you'll bomb me either way. And Elon Musk actually is in charge of making bombs there, ain't he? He's in charge of making rockets. So, not only does Father steal, occupy and steal mines from Africans, but who is everything their people are, easily looked at, both of them. But he makes bombs. Imagine that. He makes bombs. He's probably got a bomb shelter too, because he's probably scared like a motherfucker, like that rat face Alex Jones is, who just led all the idiots to go invade the Capitol, who could have been useful, but now they just followed the enemy's set-up trap to get caught. Donald Trump and Barack Obama's trap to have people with weapons invade the White House and get arrested and taken away, and the Alex Jones, and I mean, they're all related. The Oath Keepers. Hell, some of those people were famous people making music. How do you think they made music? Like, how many Jones cocks do you think they sucked? Or do you think they were blood related like everyone else allowed any money in the government? No, I think it's pretty simple. I have no allegiance. Humans already proved to me that the deepest one, that my best friends were black papacy trying to get in the way of my life and prevent me from going anywhere. I mean, they couldn't even control themselves, frothing out the mouth that I was going to do something with my life. And they had to quit the illusion that they were going to work some days in order to try to stall me from doing stuff. Pathetic beasts. But how come so many of the rat faces in my life have been trying to drug me? I mean, look, they use their school systems, their doctor systems that the human bots worship to try to drug me as a child, too. And then they send people into my life once I quit going to school to provide me with their drugs further. And then when I want to stop using them, they get upset about it. When I want to... And they sent a cop. They got this cop across the street, this deputy sheriff. Obviously looks like they've been ran over by a semi. Obviously one of them. Always talking to me about you should quit drinking and you should you should go get marijuana. It's like, well, marijuana is for brain dead people. I don't need it. And it wrecks my life, and it makes it so I don't talk to people, which the student would want, because keeping me away from other people is like part of their plan. They think that's going to somehow save them. I'm not sure if they bask in the glory that if I'm truly God, what I can just do is destroy everything. And I will, to get to them, whatever it takes to get to them. I'm not sure if they're just so in denial of what's going to happen to them that, or they just know that there is no escape, so they've got to try everything they possibly can. I'm not sure which it is, or if it's just simply the game has programmed them with some evil nonsense. But a deputy sheriff was talking to me about I should get some marijuana, and alcohol kills you. And it's like, well, what do you think I'm drinking for? Because I like alcohol? Alcohol is one of the garbage drugs you sell like marijuana. I don't want to drink alcohol. I'm drinking it to kill myself, to get away from people who look like you. Oddly, isn't that odd? Because I'm a crazy person who keeps thinking people who look exactly like you keep coming into my life and talking to me. So I'm crazy because it keeps happening. And then they keep trying to feed me drugs. I'm crazy because they've been feeding me drugs since I was 6 years old. I'm sure I was 6 years old, and I was like, I got to go buy some drugs and then go to the doctor. And the doctor's like, oh, hell yeah, man. Here's them good drugs. Here's them amphetamines for you. Got the good meth on deck for you, bruh. I'm sure they took the smartest kid out of the school. These people have been stalking like the highest score in most schools he went to because positive things, right? Right. I mean, their whole history, the whole backstory to this thing is these are degenerate pedophile pieces of shit who God has destroyed many times before and promised he will come back and destroy again when the time has come that they need destroyed. And look, we got them controlling everything right now. So I wonder when the time is. Okay, yeah. Who am I talking to? I'm sure all the soldiers got arrested on following the idiots on January 6th. Although I think that was probably mostly the TV actors and stuff. Who knows? Most of them probably aren't even in jail or anything. Most of them probably just got out. Just like Jeffrey Epstein. He's not in jail for... He helped Israel take over the West and blackmail all their leaders, I'm sure. And having that blackmail means you don't go to jail. So, yeah. Makes perfect sense. Why else? What else would it? It makes stupidity to think anything else. Pretty basic too. The game doesn't even allow me to think stuff for too long. That's not on course with the continued progression here that's been happening. It doesn't allow me to forget certain things here. I forget most things, but it doesn't allow me to forget key components and stuff, like when certain things happen and this person did that and that these people all look the same who all got in your way. These people were like, no, you're not allowed to do anything. Teachers you're not allowed to do anything. People give you drugs and they look like they've been hit by a semi, and the principal looks like he's got a name that looks like it was ran over by a semi when someone was writing it out on a piece of paper. He's got a face that looks that way. He's got a body that looks it was hit by a semi. I think the game's being very obvious what's going on here. Yeah, I can tell you, am I a god or am I a servant? They're coming and telling me, the people you guys worship, telling me I'm God. So why don't they come out in the open and tell you I'm God? Oh, wait a minute. That'd be part of their storyline. Trust me, the second they do that, you guys run for cover because they're gonna... Alien shapeshifters can do a lot. They can take any form they want. They can look like they're little heroes anytime they want. And the story's already set up as there's two of the same people. Pretty much. It's set up to be two the same people, whether lookalikes, whatever. And they're in a battle, and so they're setting up me. They've been setting up me my whole life, and then they've been blocking the media control. If I was God, they would have all just disappeared into ash years ago, and I would have been able to run for president without them existing. But that didn't happen. Okay? I don't know. Maybe the game has a longer, drawn out storyline. I'm not allowed to just hurry up and finish it and get it over with. I mean, because they do act scared. Like, the ones who don't, like, try to attack me, the ones who call me God and don't attack me like I'm nobody, and that's the wise move to do, is to attack a person they think is God. Those other ones, like, they often be, like, shaking and shit and looking scared. And hell, even some of the ones who came into my life I felt attack me, like, some of their families would be like pretty much every time I remember them laughing or talking to me, they look nervous and scared. And it's like, well, I am just like this little hippie looking kid. There's no reason for that. That's always stood out weird that so many people do that around me, because I've never looked like, what I'm capable of. I tone it down, like, specifically, like, because I have to go outside and be nice and friendly. I'm, like, forced to. I'm not allowed to be in a bad mood. I'm not allowed to be upset that I'm being stalked and my life is being railroaded and thrown in the trash by some alien species that the humans are protecting. I'm not allowed to act upset about that. And I mean, they've been LGBT before that phrase even existed, but there becomes a point where it's a requirement for me to say no and stand up and have the proper attitude towards their improper attitude in forcing me to have an attitude of kiss their butts and all this stuff. It's like, whoa, I'm God, bro. Like, I thought you guys are saying I'm God. Like, how about we end the kissing your ass and we return the boot up thy ass that thou hast been giving to God? What the? Makes sense to me. And I even, like, sorted out the parables between Old and New Testament, where old means old man, new means the young child. The young child's an ignorant person who comes and lets the world run over him and kill him, and then he doesn't die, and he comes back as an old man. And the Old Testament is when they fuck shit up. And I mean, yeah, I'm always making fun of these people and their dumbassery, but the weird thing is I've walked through some of these things. Like, I don't need to read these books. I've walked through certain things. And that's, like, the alarming part to me, is, like, some of those things have happened to me. Like being hunted since a child. Can't help but think that's what was going on. And then watching the rest of their other stories invade that storyline, like trying to outbreed others and turn them all into slaves that way. Because you won't turn on someone if it's your father, even if they enslaved your mother, right? So it's simple as that. Like, well, most people won't. People won't. People have loyalty to TV and nachos and their families. Not really, but, they'll kill anyone for their family if they don't really have loyalty towards them. But that's not loyalty. That's a gang mentality. Just like they got a gang mentality. That they can own all the media and governments and all that stuff and enslave everyone on the planet and get away with it. So yeah, there we go. Am I a god, or am I a disrespectful servant who's being hunted by an alien species who has a monopoly on religion At the end of the day, I also wonder too if they haven't created all their religions to try to deceive the person who comes back to the world themselves and to being their servant. And it's like, yeah, I don't think that's going to work too well. Although it probably did for a while, right? Um, it definitely does. It works really well when they invade nations and take them over and colonize them to spread their disease to them. And they constantly use their science and other cults as a method to soft infiltrate and send spies to nations they want to take over, like Africa and any nation. They're sending care packages to, which means they care that they package those people up in a body bag and take over their land and their resources, pretty much. Yeah, so hey, I'm definitely like their last resort is trying to be like, oh, if you stop talking about it, if you stop thinking about it, it'll go away. It's like, no, that didn't work when I was a kid. You guys were still terrorizing me and preventing me from doing anything, and I had no idea you existed. But now I know you exist, and you're trying to tell me it's my fault you exist. You existed, and I have the power to make you not exist at any second, but you still exist. No, come on, man. There's some flaws in the story here, but I think I know the majority of it's going on here. I think I fully understand what's written. Like, I'm literally one person, one living being in a war against a bunch of non-player character demons. That's what it looks like. And the demons like tried to cater to me and brainwash me like they do everyone else. And it's written that they'll come looking for me and try to find me, and because for some dumbass reason the game has told them that that someone's going to come looking for them someday instead of just being hush hush, and all of a sudden Zelda comes up again and is like, hey, guess who I am? He's like, I don't know, man, the Uber guy. Like, nah, bitch, I'm Zelda, here's a sword.